Well, here I am this morning and I'm working on my trees that are in this particular part of the estate, and they are cricket-bat willows. Now, interestingly, what I have to do is this time of the year, look, I have to strip off all these side shoots, and that's all well and good. And the way I do it is by bending this down, and then it gets to head height, and then I can quite happily strip off the side shoots like that. And in 20 years, that will hopefully be a lovely, tall, strong tree. But what I've discovered is that when I've brought it down to my height, it's actually snapped right at this end. Well, that's unheard of. These things never snap. And what I've discovered is actually there is a grub that has been hiding in there. And in fact, you can't see it at the moment because it's just gone down there. But this brown area there and there is where this beetle grub, this larvae, has been living. And I think it could be rather special. So that's where it was, look. And that does extend up the stem. It's not a good thing for the tree, of course. So if I peel back this little bit there, it was hiding around in here. This is my fingernail. Look at that. You can see how small this grub is. In fact, it's about an inch long. So I'm excavating, and it's probably about 2 inches down. I can just see something there. And here he is, he or she. A great big white grub with black spots down its side. And actually, it's sitting there in amongst its poo. All these little round things are actually what it's been eating, which is my tree. Now, I think that this is a beetle called the Noble Chafer beetle. Now, they're renowned for living in orchards. They love rotten wood because, of course, beetles like eating rotten wood. So what's it doing in my very alive tree? But there's no real way of knowing whether it is the Noble Chafer or something else, because there are a number of different chafer beetles scooting around. Look at him coming all the way up, quite long. Isn't he amazing? Eat your heart out, David Attenborough. Get a load of that. I have to say I'm using an iPhone, and the extraordinary thing about these phones is that the lenses are phenomenal. Look at that. Look at that. He's probably thinking, what the heck's going on? So if it is a Noble Chafer beetle, that is extraordinary and very rare. They're difficult to find, and this could be a great find. But the only way I'm really going to be able to tell what it is if I look after it for a whole year. And if I put it in a pot carefully and give it more rotten wood to eat, hopefully this time next year it will develop into a beetle. Because at the moment, of course, it's a larvae, and then it goes into its pupation cycle where it turns into the beetle, just like a butterfly or a moth. So I'm going to cut the tree a little bit below here and put as much as I can of this in a pot and keep it safe until things start. How long it takes for this little creature to develop is anybody's guess, because really relatively little is known about it. And if we're thinking how much damage is it doing to the tree, I guess it's got to be coming down to here. Look, that's all dead wood, plus that little bit on top. So that's probably a good 9 inches. Well, we're not going to be getting any cricket bats out of that tree. So there's the hole there. That was a perfectly healthy tree until this little grub got stuck in. So now we've used the snippers just to see how far down it goes. So that's obviously okay there. And that's it there. So that is definitely not going to help our tree in any way, shape or form. In fact, it's going to be considered a big pest.